Good evening. Welcome to our 14th annual Holocaust lecture. I would like to thank the Reinhart family for funding this lecture series and the Reinhart Fellows who established the Institute for Ethics and Leadership back in 2000. 12 years ago, after bringing Elie Wiesel to Viterbo, Daryl Clott and I were talking about how we might make this annual lecture have a broader and deeper impact in our community, and we came up with the idea of holding a Holocaust educators workshop. That first year we had about 20 teachers participating in it, and it was just a one-day workshop. But over the years it has grown and expanded. It is now a two-day workshop, and we had this year 65 educators from 3 states and several world-renowned scholars among our presenters. I'm not going to name all our presenters tonight, but I would like to recognize a few of them. Stephen Feinberg, the former National Outreach Director from the United States Holocaust Memorial Museum. He has been the centerpiece of this workshop since we started 12 years ago. Steve, would you please stand and be recognized? Thank you very much. And this year, for the first time, we had Art Shostak, a retired professor of sociology from Drexel University, who now resides in California and has authored 33 books during his distinguished career. Art, would you please stand up? Thank you. And closer to home, all the way from Bangor, Greg Wagner, who is an international authority on Nazi propaganda in education. He retired from UWL in 2012, and this year he donated his extensive library of over 350 books on Holocaust and Nazi subjects to the educators who will then use that literature to inform their teaching. Greg, would you please stand up and be recognized? And then our own dear rabbi from the congregation Sons of Abraham, Saul Prombaum. You have blessed us every year with your wisdom and your generosity of spirit. Simcha, would you please stand up? Thank you very much. And could we have our educators stand up? We have educators from all over the Midwest here. Please stand up. You are members of a noble profession, and we entrust our children and our very futures to you every day. Thank you for your commitment. In this workshop, we spend 2 days using a variety of academic disciplines from history and literature, philosophy and religion and psychology, trying to understand what happened so that we may better understand ourselves and thus live better lives and contribute to a better society. In short, we are participating in something we call the humanities. It's simply a name for an ongoing conversation that has been taking place for over 2,000 years, dating back to Plato's Academy, where the participants in the Academy ask fundamental questions like, where did we come from? Where are we going? Why do some people turn to violence and destruction? What can we do to make our communities more just? At universities like this one, we have many functions. We prepare young people for professional careers in nursing and education. In accounting, we teach skills in communication, critical thinking, analysis, and research. But our primary purpose is and always has been simply to do what all of you have come here tonight to do, and that is to learn something about what it means to be a human being, to participate in a conversation about what it means to live a good life, a fully human life, and thereby elevate our common discourse. We don't come here this evening for profit or for entertainment. We come for improvement, hoping that by the end of the evening, we walk away a little bit better than when we walked in. And so with that, please join me in welcoming the person who made this lecture series and this workshop possible, the person who invited our speaker to join us tonight, the tireless, the fearless, the unstoppable, but always affable, Darrell Klott.
Good evening. I am Darrell Klott, and I have the very best job on the face of the earth. I am a teacher, and I'm proud to say that I'm a Holocaust educator. Before I begin, I want to announce that WKBT, our local CBS station, Channel 8, is going to broadcast tonight's presentation on Sunday night, April 22nd at 11:05 p.m. So you can record it if you want to watch it again, or you can share this information with people who were not able to be here tonight. I repeat, it will be broadcast on April 22nd. That's a Sunday night at 11:05, Channel 8, WKBT. This year marks the 14th year that Viterbo University has been involved in Holocaust education. First, through our Holocaust educator workshops that Rick talked about, and I can hardly believe that this is number 12 and that we started back in 2007. Educators, I want to thank you for teaching your students what happens when people fail to accept other people's differences or when they remain bystanders when they see an injustice occur. The other arm of our Holocaust education program is bringing Holocaust speakers, mainly Holocaust survivors, to our community. Estelle Laughlin will be our 18th Holocaust speaker to stand on our stage, and in 14 years, and she is the 15th survivor that we've had. A huge thank you to the Franciscan Sisters of Perpetual Adoration and their prayer partners who've been praying around the clock for 140 years for prayer requests that come in from all over the world. They have been praying that Estelle would remain healthy so that she could come to us tonight. Our speakers are always a bit surprised to find that it is the sisters' prayers who have been keeping them healthy and not their doctors. We are very fortunate to be here tonight, for we are about to touch history. Estelle Laughlin, author of Transcending Darkness, A Girl's Journey Out of the Holocaust, is a remarkable human being. She was born in Warsaw, Poland on July 9th, 1929, and for you mathematicians, you've probably quickly calculated that she's 88 years young. She had a happy childhood with her parents and her older sister Freda until it was shattered on September 1st, 1939, when Germany invaded Poland. Estelle and Freda came of age in the Warsaw Ghetto and concentration camps amid unimaginable horrors and wrenching separation from their father, who was murdered at Majdanek extermination camp. Their mother's unshakable determination to keep the remnant of their family intact, along with random luck, saved their lives. Together they endured forced labor, near starvation, brutality, and daily indignities. Estelle's story, while it is a harrowing tale of destruction and loss, is also a story of the goodness that still exists in a dark world of survival and renewal. Estelle, who is affiliated with the United States Holocaust Memorial Museum in Washington, D.C., immigrated to the United States at age 18. She and her sister and her mother arrived in 1947 with a total of $30. After a long career in teaching, she has continued to write and lecture widely about her experience and her survival. And now, prepare to fall in love. Please welcome Estelle Laughlin. now it is my honor and privilege to interview Estelle. So, you were just 10, living in Warsaw, Poland, when World War II began. Start, please, by telling us about your life in Warsaw before the war.
I was a member of a happy, harmonious family. I lived in Warsaw, Poland. Warsaw was the center of my universe and glows in my selective memory in golden radiance of lilac trees against open blue skies, rich sounds of good neighbors, kindness, and trust and love.
Sounds pretty ideal.
Yes.
Warsaw held out, September 1st, 1939, Germany invaded Poland and they attacked Warsaw. What do you remember about that day and the siege of Warsaw?
Warsaw was actually very nervous about the threats of aggression from Germany. But everybody went on with their daily lives, cooking, going to work, children were playing. It was a brilliant day, and suddenly we heard a tremendous detonation, 2 or 3 detonations, and then silence, as though all the air was sucked out of the city, and then silence. And just as suddenly, we heard the screeching and howling of air raid sirens, and we turned on the radio, and we heard that Germany attacked Poland without declaring war. We are at war.
Warsaw held out a month following the German invasion of Poland, and you wrote in your book, "The German army marched into Warsaw, and immediately my life changed beyond imagination." Tell us about those changes once the Germans occupied Warsaw.
Immediately, my life changed beyond recognition. My once peaceful streets were now patrolled by foreign soldiers. They shouted hatred and contempt, snapped whips in our homes, called us greedy, yet they walked into our homes like common thieves and helped themselves to anything they wanted to. They isolated us in a tiny ghetto. They built a thick wall around us and filled the ghetto with people driven out, Jewish people driven out from surrounding areas. Most people came on foot, many without shoes on their feet, without a penny in their pockets. Most people died of hunger and homelessness and illness in the streets. People covered the bodies of their children with posters saying, "Children are the holiest things. Our children must live."
You wrote in your book that children followed adult examples to resist the barbaric laws when you said, "In our apartment complex, there was no child over 10 who did not have some public duty." Could you say a little bit about that?
Yes. In this inferno, immediately the Jewish community organized itself in self-aid centers, and those who had more helped those who were less fortunate. And Warsaw was an ancient city and densely populated, so most people lived in apartment buildings. In our building, there was not a child who was over 10 who did not help in some way. We put on shows and collected money to contribute to the more needy people. We collected food and clothing. And, people sometimes ask me, why didn't we fight back? which is also the examples that in many ways saved my soul from dying. Young people, I must interrupt myself here. I am aware that there are a few young people here. And my story is a little bit, is sad. But I want to tell the young people who are here that life, everyone in life suffers, experiences some suffering. It may be rejection, it may be loss. But I assure you that as long as you hold on to that which is best in you, you'll always be okay. I was 10 when all of these things happened to me, and I grew up loving humanity, with joy of life. And so I feel now more comfortable assuring the young people that I want to convey that out of sadness, good lessons can come in life too. And so now I forgot where I left off.
I just have to say that after all you've been through, you're just such an inspiration to be, here you are, you lived through this horrible ordeal and you're looking at the good. And I thank you for that. The Nazis started deporting large numbers of Jews out of Warsaw.
But I want to go back to the question.
Oh, about the, yes.
Where I got my inspiration.
Oh, good.
So I was sharing, now I remember, I was sharing about how people were fighting back. I'm referring to the moral resistance. So I mentioned the fact that there was a self-aid organization that was widespread throughout